Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy Does It, a podcast created specifically for the amazing members of the MJ team. Rob and I are back with you again, excited for another great episode. We have another guest episode up today. And Rob, tell us, who do we have here with us today?
Listen, this man started here at MJ when the Ice Bucket Challenge was rampant on the internet. He might take his 5-minute presentation in your meeting and go on for 3 hours. And he likes to shake his tail feather to the wobble. There are video evidence out there. We'd like to welcome our chief of people, Mr. Mike Simons.
Hello.
What's up, Mike?
What's up?
Good to have you, man.
Yes.
How you guys been?
We are excited to have you here. I will say that is one of my favorite parts of the wobble video, is seeing how Mike just lights up.
But back in the day, I could cut a rug.
I don't know that I would be shocked. I have thought to myself, Mike loves a wedding.
Yeah.
Listen, these are my people.
I love to dance.
Yes, these are my people. I too love a wedding because I love to dance.
Turn some music on. We'll have that in the show notes. We'll have
not
a couple
happening.
of attachments put on there for you guys.
Not happening today.
Okay, so we have a very specific would you rather today.
Yeah, I've got a specific one. I might need to adjust it for you.
Please.
But I'll give the raw one first. So, Mike, we always ask, would you rather? Yours is, would you rather have a full head of hair or bag the North Carolina state record for a white-tailed deer?
White-tailed deer.
White-tailed deer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Record books are forever.
I know, but hair could be forever.
No.
It could be forever for you. It's a would you rather.
I would rather have a big deer on the wall and in the record books.
What's the biggest deer you bagged?
Score about 112, 115-ish, which is not huge, but it's decent.
It's a good size.
Yeah.
Was that here in North Carolina? Or
No, I've actually only hunted North Carolina a couple times. I usually go back and hunt with my dad up in West Virginia.
Yeah.
But this was done, in 1994 is when I killed the biggest one I've got.
Did you put it up and everything?
I've got 4 deer hanging on the wall and a bear.
There we go.
Y'all know y'all talking some language I don't even speak.
And you want to hear something really funny?
Yeah.
Actually, this is kind of off the cuff, but we have a new dog in the house named Axel. He's a Pomsky. I'll show you pictures later. Absolutely beautiful. But he loves venison. We feed him venison pretty much every day.
Nice.
It's so good for you. There's no fat in venison at all. It's completely lean.
I want to love that.
Look how you said that. I just want to love it.
I do want to, but it's something about it.
Don't like it?
No.
Susie doesn't care for it either.
Maybe it's just that I would need to get used to. I don't know.
It's also how you prepare it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've tried any of mine that I've brought to the breakfast before, but you just give it a shot one time. Just a small bite.
A small bite, yes.
Of course, I'm going to say this for Chewy Fridays, but if you have like deer taco meat, it is so stinking close to like ground beef. Mm-hmm. It tastes very similar, and then you can start changing up your recipes. They get a little bit closer to what deer meat, I guess, tastes like more, not raw, but like, unseasoned,
Yeah, start with something that's familiar and
Several years ago, I made deer chili and brought it here to work, and nobody knew. You can't tell.
Don't do that
Probably
to me, Mike. I was like, did I get fooled by the deer chili?
You could have.
Okay, do you want me to try?
Oh, so you,
so this goes back to every single thing we always talk about. I don't know a lot about hunting. I actually don't even know that I knew that you liked hunting. I knew golf, but I don't know that I knew hunting. I think this goes in the category of things that first of all, we know how I feel about being in the woods. And then I just don't know that I could do it. I understand why people do it. I'm not against people hunting. Hear me clearly say that. If that floats your boat, go for it. I just feel like I would be too. I had a rabbit the other day and couldn't shake it.
just carried it with you.
It was probably already gone, so you didn't have to shake it. It was.
Yeah, well, and then Leah's in the car with me, and she's like, oh, Mom, you killed a rabbit. I'm like, stop reminding me. I think I would just have a hard time. So I'm going to, plus also too, I can appreciate my hair. So I'm going to go with a full head of hair.
I mean, wouldn't that be cool if that was just like a little side fact? An interesting fact about Meredith is you hold the state record for a white tail.
Certainly no one would figure that one out.
I mean, it's just like.
If I did 2 truths and a lie, I could do that every time and nobody would ever guess.
Probably.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I feel like when people say stuff like that, they'll have very benign items and they have some wild one. It's like the wild one's probably it.
Yeah, that would be wild about me.
Do you
for
have
sure.
something to tell us?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, I'm just checking.
No,
This one just came up, and I felt like the Lord was speaking to me. And you could have the state record, and we just don't know it.
No,
Sitting right here.
no, you would know that by now.
Okay, so
All right,
full
what
head
would
of
you-
hair for you.
Yes. What about you?
You know, y'all, I'd love to have me some hair. You know what I'm saying? Because this stuff started falling out when I was 18. The high peaks, the peninsula. Corey knows what I'm talking about. That stuff starts going on back, and then it starts coming from the other way. A sneak attack from the back.
My brother was fully bald at 24.
Yeah.
So I had the luxury probably around 30-ish, 35-ish. It was
then out
started to giving up the ghost and just like I didn't shave it until probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I started shaving it all the time.
Yeah.
But I saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
At the barbershop. I
Yeah,
just went
just
and bought a
trim it.
good pair of clippers and a good razor and
Set
there
it
you go.
on 0 and bick it.
Yeah. We were looking at Mila. Yesterday was Mila's 16th birthday. But I was looking through old pictures, getting ready for her birthday party. And Mike also, my husband, is bald as well. And we were looking through old pictures, and he's like, why did you not tell me to shave it?
I've had these pictures before.
So, yeah,
I think it's funny the people that try to just
hold on.
just hold on as long as they
Yeah.
can. Yeah, just hold on as long as you can. You got your little place here.
Yeah.
Maybe the guy last episode.
Maybe that's going to come up later
boys
on.
and girls, dang.
Take that
All right,
out.
so you're
Take that
saying
out,
hair?
please, Corey.
Yeah, I'll take some hair.
You're taking hair over the deer.
Yeah, I'll take some hair. Good hairline. Lives with you forever.
I just honestly, it's funny you get to a place where you can't even imagine. I think part of me thinks that you would just look silly with hair.
Listen, y'all, I've got a couple of photos out there. And I had hair when I was in Iraq, and I had a mustache. I had a nice thick mustache. And I was holding on to that hair. And they didn't have any hair gel there because, like, I have mixed hair, so it's in between. All they had in the PX was LA Hold. And so imagine Rob with some hair, some wavy hair, and LA Hold, slick that thing down.
So I've got a good one for you. My sophomore year at college, I pull in my car with my Abe Lincoln beard and a ponytail about that long.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Rocking the mullet,
wow.
killing it.
To be tagged in the show notes.
Yes, for real. I feel
Videos
like
and this picture.
some commitments here to some show notes.
There are commitments. You can't back out now.
I have to try to. I don't know if I can find that.
We'll
I do
find
have
it.
pictures with hair, but it'll be tough to
The
find. that one.
ponytail is what I want to see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
used to have a ponytail.
that's great.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I feel like we've already learned so much about Mike, just the would you rather. Okay. So we're using these episodes in the podcast. We started with Brandon. We had Alan on. So we're just trying to get to know our people better here. And then also to talk a little bit about Run the Play and MJ Easy, these terms and phrases that we hear kind of show up in the business. We hear them in meetings, we hear them in the hallways, we hear them on the podcast. What do they mean? And just getting everybody's take on it so that everybody kind of understands what we mean when we say those things. But because we haven't had you on the podcast before, we're going to start with Mike's story because that's the biggest part is understanding who we work with every day. So, Rob said 2014, right?
Yes,
It's the year you started.
September 2014.
Wow. So, tell us, what are your first memories that come to mind when you think about when you started at Morris Jenkins? And also, too, I guess, what brought you here?
So, what brought me here was I was frustrated, not unhappy, but frustrated at my previous job. Just things. It was a bigger corporate setting. And my wife and I were talking, and she sent me a message or something about this opening at this company in Charlotte. And then she saw the reviews and it looked good and told me, hey, you ought to check this place out. So I did, and actually was interviewed by, I think Brent Bates was the original person that called me, but then Kelly Jenkins, which was the HR director at the time that I started, and then interviewed with Jessica and Mr. Jenkins. So that's kind of how I got in the door. The funny thing, I'll never forget this because it was a legitimate question, I thought, was when I came here and was talking to Dewey about it, one of my questions was, well, Kelly was leaving the company, but what if she wanted to come back in the role? And he just kind of, everybody knows Dewey's wry grin. He's just like, that's not going to happen. I'm like, okay, that's all I needed. And it's been kind of a whirlwind, great story since then.
Mm-hmm. Did you work what was your background before you came to Morris Jenkins?
So I'm originally from West Virginia. Went to Marshall University, played there. I was on the football team, didn't play, but kind of the cool story from football was a guy named Troy Brown, which played for the Patriots. He's won a couple of Super Bowls with them and Tom Brady, but I played ball with him. Wow. I was a punter, believe it or not, and he was a wide receiver, and he returned punts. So we got to kind of know each other a little bit, not much. Mm-hmm. But after that, I went to work in the coal mining industry. I was in the mines for almost 8 years, and I was actually a safety director in the coal mining industry to start out. And one of the operations I worked at, which was a single operation, but it was roughly 200 people, and they had nobody to help them with benefit stuff. And that kind of is what kind of got me into the HR world. I was dealing with all the safety stuff, but then people would have questions about benefits, and nobody was around to help. So I just kind of started into that, and safety and HR really are kind of married together. It's all about people. Mm-hmm. So that's really what got me into the HR world. And from there, my wife wanted the opportunity, and she got a job in St. Louis, Missouri. And she said, do you mind if I move, or if we move? I'm like, I don't want to go any further east or west, of the Mississippi, and I don't want to go any further north than we are because I don't like cold weather. And she took me to the Mississippi, St. Louis. So we were there about 2 years. She was a general or regional manager for K Jewelers, and she moved us here. And worked a couple years at a small company called TransSolid, and worked at Staples. I was at Staples before I came here. Mm-hmm. And then again, been here since September 14th, 2024, roughly in that time period.
Wow. Yeah, I'm always fascinated just to hear people's stories of how they end up showing up at the door here, and the things that, it's just funny how your people story started a long time before being the, chief people officer. It started as just this one thing, but then morphed into these other things. The coal mining thing, that's intriguing to me. What was that like?
Coal miners are special people in the greatest way. You got to imagine you're going underground, 12 to 15 people, and the only people around that can help you in the emergency are those people. And you develop a relationship. And I wasn't underground every day. I went underground a couple days a week, but when you're under there, it's like, it's a darkness you've never seen in your life. And it's almost kind of eerie sometimes. But once you get used to it, I've known people that they would never come outside to work a different job. My dad did it for 32 years. And he's fortunate, doesn't have black lung or anything. I know that's kind of the horror story, and a lot of people have that. Don't get me wrong, but it's an amazing place. You never know what you're going to run into, and it's just some wonderful, wonderful people.
Mm-hmm. What is it about like coal mining that makes that bond? Is it the people that you're around? Is it the nature of the work?
It's the people you're around, and literally the fact that you might depend on that person to save your life at any time. Mm-hmm. Because literally the furthest I've been underground is probably 3 or 4 miles. I'm saying miles, not feet or yards. It's miles.
Crazy.
And, if something happens, there's 11 people that can help you or 12, how many's on the crew. So you put a lot of trust and faith in them and they do as well for you. And that's your, I've heard Brandon say, especially he said this morning, we spend more time at work with our people here than we do with our family at home. And you create that family bond. And it's even stronger because you're literally depending on somebody to save your life if something major happens.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Talk about not wanting to be somewhere. Add that to my list. Forest, ocean, coal mine. Because I have watched, I feel like there's documentaries out there.
Documentaries, movies, yeah.
Yeah, about this, which I'm sure, like many things, maybe don't even depict it correctly. But I can see now because it's obvious to me that you're a team player. I mean, that is 100% a way I would describe you. And so I think it's just interesting to see how this piece in your background and in your history kind of surfaces where there it was like life or death. It may not be life or death all the time here, right? But it's still this kind of desire to have people working together. I think it's just interesting to see how that transitions over into the different parts of the places that you've been in.
Yeah, the craziest thing for me, some of the most unsafe places I've ever been have been outside the coal mines. The first job I had here in Charlotte when I moved here, I'm not going to name the company at that time, but it was scary, some of the things that we had people doing, and it was just. If we tried that in the mining industry, we'd be gone, right?
Yeah.
But you had inspectors and so much activity from that standpoint that it didn't happen. But it's my safety record when I was a safety director at an operation there was better than what we are here. But people look at things differently there, right? It's just you don't have a lot of people behind you that can help, backfill if somebody's out or whatever. Now, those 10, 12, 15 guys, they depended on you every day to be there no matter what. And you were. So you just figured it out.
It seems like the safety with the individuals, it's you recognize if any one of us makes a mistake, it's not just I'm endangering myself, I'm endangering the people around me. And I don't think anybody wants to walk around with a feeling of like, I put her in danger or I killed this person. And so the measure of safety lives with the people because there's huge repercussions if you mess something up.
Yes. And it could affect, as you said, it affects the people down the line as well. It's, if you do something here and you're out and you cut your hand or something, you've done it to yourself in essence. But if you make a mistake or don't do something right underground, it could affect multiple people.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's
a different world.
It is. I do think it is. I hear you say so many things just in this conversation about the coal mining thing. That's just about going back to the people, going back to the people, going back to the people, and the safety and relying on each other and the teamwork. And hence the reason why I think you find yourself in the chief people officer position. What does that title or what does that position mean to you?
So I do introduce myself as the chief people officer, but I'm just the HR guy. I deal with benefits. I deal with, the healthcare, the safety, anything like that that deals with the people. And my job is to take care of the people, do whatever I can, obviously within reason and, et cetera, but do whatever I can to help people. Even if it's ordering pizza for people on a Friday meeting or whatever it might be. It's just, I'd have a tough time saying no, for one. And number two, I just like to help people, whatever it is. And the fortunate thing here, which is not the same everywhere, is that, starting with Mr. Jenkins back in 2014 to now under Brandon, the focus is it's okay to do that. It's okay to take care of the people. That is why we're here, to take care of the people. If we take care of people, people will take care of our customers. If we take care of our customers, then it all just trickles from there. So it's all about the people. The biggest investment we have within this company are people. I don't care however you look at it. You look at the bottom line, it's the people is the investment. And if you're not taking care of the people won't take care of you. So Mr. Jenkins figured that out a long time ago, and he's kept it going. And it's transitioned from, Dewey to Jonathan now to Brandon. And that's just the focus, is taking care of the people.
Yeah. So I think you said it was your wife that was able to find the listing here, and she was the one that was like, hey, you should go check this place out. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about that, but then also when you got here, when did you figure out that this place is a little different than the other places that you worked?
And also, what was it like to be interviewed by Dewey?
Yes.
A couple questions there. So,
yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Hold on, I got another one.
Yeah. I couldn't forget that one because I was just thinking if I saw Dewey across the table kind of, smiling and nodding, I would be.
Yeah, Dewey, and again, this was over 10 years ago. Dewey is just very calm and very, and Dewey's, I've actually sat in with Dewey interviewing someone else. And it's just the way he comes across is like, he just gets you to talk and lets you communicate, and just the questions that he asks to get you to just divulge everything that he wants to know about you. It's just hard to do. Not everybody has that talent, right? He was very easy to talk to, and just, I don't know. It was just good. It was pleasant.
Yeah.
It was nice. You didn't know that you were sitting across Mr. Jenkins. You were just, this is the guy that's running the company. That's kind of what you knew. It wasn't intimidating or anything like that at all.
Yeah.
And Rob, I hate to say it, I think I forgot the other two questions you asked me, but
Your wife brought you here.
Yeah. My wife, again, she kind of knew I wasn't 100% happy. Right. So she just saw it and threw it out there, and I started doing some research and just that opportunity. And I think actually she bugs me now. She's like, when are you going to find my job for me? Because she's had a couple different jobs lately. And I mean, she understands, and you can see it when I come home and when she comes home. It's, and I've always said to everyone I work with, and if I ever see somebody that's not happy to come to work, then we need to talk. We need to figure out what's going on or why. And my wife and I have had those conversations. She's been in management all of her life, literally since she was 18 years old. And she has that same philosophy: is there's something going on, we got to figure out what's going on or why. And she's been in places that really doesn't have that philosophy or understanding of managing people. And she's not a manager anymore, so she can't she tries to coach, but in the role she's in, it's kind of hard. So, but yeah, I blame her, and it's a good, healthy blame, because I've just had opportunities, and you cannot get me away from this place if you tried. It just, the things, I love coming to work every day. I really do. And again, the reason why is because I get to do my job. My job is to help people, and nobody's ever said, don't do that for whatever reason, whatever it was. And there's things that we do that most people don't know about that, that we do to help people out.
Yeah. I feel like, I think we've all of us have our path to getting here, and then you get here, and I don't know, it was kind of creepy for me the first couple of weeks, because, you meet people and it's not bad. It's just everybody's so nice, and it's weird. And then you meet more people, and more people are nice, and it's weird. And then it just kind of hits you that this place is different from every other place I've worked. When was that for you?
So my aha moment was Randy Tooker. Everybody loves Randy, right? Mm-hmm. So I was talking to Randy about something, and he was telling me about the situation that came up. I had a tech at a customer's home, and the tech had found something wrong with the system. Beyond my understanding what it was, you'd probably understand. I don't. But what I did understand was the tech called Randy up and said, hey, this part failed. This is what's wrong. We were here at the location doing a maintenance about 3 or 4 months before that, And if it would have been found then, it would have been under warranty. But it's just outside of warranty a few months. I don't feel comfortable charging them for something we may have missed prior to. Mm-hmm. And any other company you go to, hold on, I got to call this person. I got to call this person. I got to call this person. We got to get approval. We got to do this. And then Randy's like, okay, fix it, move on. And he's like, you don't have to get anybody's permission to do that. We just want to take care of the customer. And that was kind of my, giving in this situation, giving Randy the ability to manage whatever he needs to manage. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the first aha moment I had, was that you just take care of stuff and move on. Mm-hmm. Right. In the grand scheme of things, the amount of time and energy of going through this process, you could have already taken care of and moved on. And that's what we do.
Yeah. I had, I taught Intro to the Fundamentals on Friday, and I had 2 of our new HVAC techs that are going to Greenville.
What?
And they literally started last Monday, and they had been, they went to orientation, and then they had been onboarding with some of the HVAC supervisors, and then they were sitting in a class on Friday for Intro to the Fundamentals. And I walked back there just to be like, I just want to check in. I know this week has been a lot. I mean, we call it drinking from a fire hose, because it is. When you come in, when you come into any new position, no matter the company, you're just trying to take it all in. You're trying to figure out, what is this place that I signed up for? What am I supposed to do here? How are they going to support me? What's that going to look like? So I just went back there to check on them, and I'm like, just want to see if you guys are okay. I know it's a lot of information this week, but we wanted to include you guys with the Greenville crew, so you could build those relationships and hear what they hear. And they both were just like, this place is amazing. They were like, it's been so amazing. It's like I couldn't. It was a lot of information, but they were just so blown away by just what that 1 week, the first week, had looked like for them. And I think that it kind of speaks to this idea that we do things differently, both for our customers, but also for our employees. So I think going along with new people, new hires, what is it that you feel like we look for in those people? And how are things different? You see more of that side, you're involved with that side every day, more so than we are. So from your seat in the stadium, what does that hiring piece look like? It's probably part of Run the Play, which we're going to talk about, or maybe if you want to start talking about that now. But when we hire new people, what are we looking for, and what is that experience that we're trying to provide for them when they come here?
So we'll maybe just talk about Run the Play a little bit. So pretty much everything we have at MJ, we have a play for some type. And from the hiring standpoint, we have a play that goes from how we go about drafting the posting, the interview process, day 1, all the way up to roughly day 90. The part you're really talking about is looking for, get it, want to have the capacity to do it. One of the, that, and then also looking at the questions that we ask are all intentful. It's like, we look for hungry, humble, smart, right? Things like that. Are they going to fit in to who we are? Because frankly, there's a lot of people, and we say it, and we've said it in a lot of meetings. If the culture if you don't fit the culture will chew you up and spit you out. And that's not a bad thing. We don't think that's a bad thing. We think that we are who we are. People are smiling. People are having fun. And if you can't fit into that, then you can go somewhere else and work, and that's fine. It's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Brandon mentioned we had a new hire orientation, 4 new people for Greenville starting today, and then a new contact center person starting today. Mm-hmm. How many companies do you know that on day 1 at 8:45, 9 o'clock ish, the president of the company, the CIO, the chief people officer, the chief sales officer are all going to be introducing themselves on day 1 to all new hires, right? And that's part of that, introducing them to who we are from day 1. Mm-hmm. Back to your original question, just looking for hungry, humble, smart? Do they get it, have the capacity to do it? And looking for the people that fit into who we are. And can they grasp that? And frankly, some people can't. And, unfortunately, they don't always stay here. But the people that do love it and long term. Right? You look at our tactical team, we got roughly 80 to 90 years of experience. Our operations team has 90 plus years of experience, the operation leadership. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so cool how it is. It's like, we know what we're looking, and you said it a couple times there. It's not a bad thing. It's not that we don't think that you won't make a great employee somewhere else, but here, this is what we believe in. This is how we're going to treat one another. This is what our culture is. And, that's who we are. And so it's either that or it's not. And that's okay. It's, I think that is, I always talk about this when we talk about talents and strengths, because I think about Build a Plumber and Tech Builder, because conventional wisdom would tell us that we should just hire people with experience, people who have the background and the education, and that's the only people that you can hire. And so I think part of when other people are like, wait, you train your technicians and your plumbers from like zero skills, it's hard for people to wrap their head around that. And I think it's because we know what we're looking for, and then we trust ourselves to be able to do the rest.
The amazing thing that we have here that I don't know of any other company that can do it. I know some probably have tried, but bringing somebody in, and I hope she doesn't get mad for me mentioning her because I love her to death, but Rachel Griswold. I found her, I think she may have mentioned it in the podcast, but I found her at TGI Fridays at Concord. Never forget it. She's sitting there with my wife. I'm my wife and my son, and she's the waitress there. And she just had whatever that it was that you kind of, you can't explain it. It's hard to put in words, but whatever it was, she just had that thing. And I asked her about if she's interested in doing anything else. She's like, well, what do you got? And she actually at that time came in as a warehouse person, one of the warehouse coordinators. And then when she got here, she kind of felt her way through. She went into the Build a Plumber, and now she's one of our lead trainers. How many of those stories are out there outside of here? Now we have a bunch of stories, right? We could go through a bunch of different stories of people that have kind of grown up here as babies and are where they're at now. That doesn't happen everywhere. And we find that if you find people, good people, and give them the opportunity, train them, educate them, and let them go out and take care of the customer, that it works and they'll be very successful, and then we'll be very successful. And you'd asked a minute ago, how do you find it? It's so hard to put in words of how or what you're looking for. But you just kind of know when you get it. And we've also done a lot of training. We did the interview class training last week, I think. Do a lot of education with our people on kind of what to look for. And it's not always what the answer is. It's how you communicate is what we're looking for a lot of times when we're interviewing and things like that.
Yeah. I've had the pleasure of being in a few interviews with you myself, and it's always fun sitting in there because usually we have, a couple people in there. You have the person that's interviewing, and then we'll have 2 or 3 other people. And my favorite moments are with Mike. I don't know how many people we've hired. And then later they were like, who's this guy that was sitting over there in the corner? I said, well, that's Mike. He's our chief of people. And they're like, he didn't say a word. He looked at me and just, I could tell his gears were going, and then he'd write something down. And then afterwards, the person would walk out, and then Mike was like, oh, I liked him. And I'm like, you didn't say anything. And then the person would be like, I don't think that he likes me. And I'm like, oh no, he liked you. You're good. And then they come in and finally get to meet you. And then Mike's being Mike's goofy self. And they're like, that is not the person that I saw in there. And I said, that is how Mike perceives people. He watches people. He's very observant. But I said, you get to know him outside of that interview room. It's completely different. But what was cool that I noticed, and I wanted to ask you, is you are very insightful and you see through and you see into people and you're able to observe and see patterns and see the good and see things to watch out for. And you've mentioned this a couple of times. You said hungry, humble, and smart. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about that from your vantage point?
So, well, first on the interview stuff, almost everyone that I've hired thought that I hated them. And obviously it wasn't that because I hired them. But me, I observe and I look to see how people respond, look at their facial expressions, things like of that nature. And that helps me understand, are they being genuine on the answers? Or, how are they going through the interview? So I really don't like to be the person asking them questions. I just like to observe. Mm-hmm. All right. And the hungriness, the hungry, humble, smart is looking at, do they want to come in and learn, and are they hungry to learn and educate themselves and go out and perform and do a good job, whether it's a technician in the field, whether it's an HR person, whether it's a coordinator in the warehouse, whatever it is, are they wanting to get in and do the best job they can? The humbleness is, are they arrogant? Are they, the diva, probably the bad word to say, but take that out, Corey. But, are they humble? Do they open a door or hold the door for people? Are they yes, sir, yes, ma'am, things like that. And then the smart is the EQ, not really the IQ, is the EQ. Are they able to read people and understand little cues? Because you get out and especially technicians, they get out in the field and they're by themselves, and they've got to be able to pick up on things that people are putting down. I think I've heard you. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? And the same thing, even from an HR standpoint, are they able to? Do you have the emotional intelligence to be able to console people when they need to be consoled if they've got something major happening in their life, whether it's, family or whatever it might be? And then also you got to sometimes be able to put your foot down and say, I'm sorry, we can't do that. Now we can maybe do this, but we can't do exactly what you're wanting, and be able to understand the situation the person's in and understand what they can do and try to help as best they can.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting seeing the different types of people. And I mean, you've been in the business long enough, not just here, but in general, that you've seen so many different types of people and personalities and patterns, and picking up on those important cues is what everybody that's sitting in an interview class should know. But some of it comes with experience, but it is cool. Some of the classes that we put on, I think Mark and Abigail just put on the interview class just last week and did a phenomenal job. And it was really interesting hearing some of the questions and the insights to look into who to hire. I don't know. It's the hungry, humble, smart piece has been something that's taken me a long time to really develop and hone, but it is a key piece, and it's hard finding the right people. But once you find them, just same thing with Rachel. You get that feeling. It becomes more of a feeling. At first it's like, okay, I need to know what I'm looking for. But the feedback you've given over the years has been extremely helpful.
Yeah, I know you're not supposed to your gut, right? It's just, and it's not necessarily a gut feeling. It's something that's learned over time. But again, it's how people respond, how they react. For example, if you're walking into an interview and the person's sitting there and you walk in, do they stand up and shake your hand? When they shake your hand, do they look at the ground? They look at your eyes? Well, how do they respond? How do they react? One of the questions that it's not one of the hungry, humble, smart questions, but one of the questions I've always asked is, who is the one person that's made the biggest difference in your life or career? Not a family member, right? I could tell you who mine was. Mine was Charlie Leonard back in 1997-ish. But he was a VP of operations at the time. And he basically took me under his wing as a safety person and just kind of helped develop me to get me where I was, 3-5 years and even now. If you can't answer who that person is, then are you being genuine? Mm-hmm. What was it? Yeah. No. But if you know, and knowing those things that they appreciate, have taken something from someone and have utilized it in their life to get them where they are now. Mm-hmm. Who are those people?
What do you feel like it says if someone hasn't had somebody that's made a big impact in their career?
So it's either they haven't had the opportunity, meaning the jobs they may or may not have been in. And that's so sometimes when we're interviewing people that they don't have a lot of experience in general. So you kind of look for different things. Are there other people that made, what's the word I'm looking for? An impact on their life, not necessarily work related. See if there's somebody else out there. The reality is there's, especially I think with the younger generation, you have to pull out more through the questions because you may not find somebody specifically that's made any impact yet. But what are the other things? Is it a friend or is it, you might need to go to family if you're dealing with somebody like that. But preferably keep it within the business where they worked because it tells, are they able to develop a relationship? When they develop a relationship, what do they get out of the relationship? And what are they giving out of the relationship? It's not all take, right? So it's just through the questions and probing, which I know that you're good at, Rob. I've seen
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, it even makes sense, the reflection. The person has had an impact, and it shows, have they reflected on their the people that have been in their life that have made an impact. I wanted to ask you, Brandon has been here, Alan has been here, and we've been talking about run the play. And I wanted to ask you from your standpoint and your vantage point in the department that you're running, what does it look like on a given day of run the play in the HR world? So
I've thought about this because it was kind of, I listened to Alan's podcast, so I cheated a little bit.
You did cheat.
No, I'm supposed to listen to the podcast, right? I'm doing what I'm told.
He did his homework.
I did my homework. So the weak way to answer it, but I think it's the easiest way, is just how we do things, right? We don't have a big playbook or a policy book, handbook, right? We don't have a 200-page handbook. We have a 75 to 80-page handbook because you're not going to know the answer to every single question that comes up. You were in the field before. You don't know every single, well, if this happens, I have to do this. If this happens, I have to do this. When you were teaching and doing the things you did, it wasn't all written, right? But if you give the people the understanding of, we want to make sure we take care of the customer. My customer are the applicants starting. That's the first time they become a customer is when they apply. How do we want that person that's applying to feel, right? Do they get a response? Do they get follow-ups? What is that process that we go through? And that's what we've looked at. We're on probably 3.5 or 4 point whatever of the hiring playbook. And it's because we've looked at it. We've seen things that we need to change. We need to adjust, things like that. And we want that overall customer experience being the the person we're hiring going through the interview process to blow them away. And so that's the hiring part of it. And then once they're here is whatever comes up, you're going to have to figure out what we can do to take care of them, right? And it's hard to put that specifically in writing. Besides, this is just how we do things here. This is what we want to do. At the end of the day, this person has an issue or a concern, whatever it is, and we want to try to resolve it. And we do it whatever we can do within reason to try to take care of that person.
Yeah. So it sounds like to me, I just wrote down run the play, and then you said something that was really interesting. You said, how should this person feel? And so how do they feel when we hire them? And then once they're here and in the doors, how do we continue to be mindful of how do they feel? You're the chief of people. So you said, what is their experience like here? And so it sounds like maybe what you're saying is run the play is crafting the experience for the employee.
So it's, I may be off when I say this, but when you, from a marketing standpoint, we don't, and I can't remember the term, but it's like the marketing disorder. So what we market is we want what people see from a marketing standpoint to be the same when we actually come out there.
Yeah. The business personality.
Thank you.
disorder.
Yeah.
Thank you. I could not think about it. I drew a blank. But that's the same thing from a hiring standpoint, right? We want that experience starting at the interview all the way to be the best. And we don't want it to be really good and really bad and really good and really bad, right? We going through this process, we found that we did surveys of new hires. And we found that on day 1, we had like a 4.6 rating. On day 2, we had like a 4.6, 4.5 rating. On day 3, we had like a 4.1 rating. On this day, we had like a 4.1, then went down to 3.9, right? So you go in and say, well, where are we missing it? Where are we failing? And what can we do to make it better? We want 5s across the board, right? So just asking the simple questions. Where did we miss? What was the process that we were doing? It's kind of the check, plan, do, and check again. So we think we have a great process in place, but then we got to go back and look at it again to make sure, are we missing it somewhere? And it's kind of what we're doing now with the current hiring playbook that we implemented as part of this change. The day 1, actually the interview process, starting with Megan on the first interview to day 1, day 2 of orientation was really good. Well, day 1 was the HR side of it. Day 2 was the safety and IT side. We've tweaked that a little bit, but day 3 to day 14 or whatever, we've also added some things that kind of given for lack of a better term, a checklist to make sure that the operations teams are making sure that you got the credit card machines that you need. You got knee pads and just basic stuff like that. But then we're having a 30-day follow-up from the HR side, calling and just checking in. And then we have a 75-day check-in and just tell us, hey, how's it going? Any issues, any concerns, anything that comes up when we talk about it. And then we are able to take it back to the team and say, hey, we missed this. The credit card was one. When we hired some electricians, they missed the credit card training. They needed it in the field. Well, as we know, electrical is a little bit newer to us, right? So when that came up, we missed it. We missed it. They needed to have that training to make sure they had the ability to take payment. Mm-hmm. So we fixed that and made an adjustment, and whatever else comes up, that's what we look at doing, is trying to adjust and make that overall experience.
Yeah, there's so many things that I think we're talking about right now that to me play directly into what Rob was mentioning earlier about you go through day 1 and day 2 and day 10 and day 15, and you're like, why is everybody here so happy and smiling at each other and having conversations? And I think it all goes back to exactly what you're talking about. It's just even the fact that we think this much about it and that we put this much time, effort into going back, asking the questions, reworking the process. How can we make it better? Even just the what you said about how it makes them feel. I don't even know that people get that consideration when they start in a new place. I don't know that every company thinks, how does this experience make them feel? Mm-hmm. Because sometimes it's like, we just need to get you in the door.
You need training.
Yeah.
We need you in a truck.
That's right.
We need you to generate revenue.
Yeah.
We need whatever.
And instead of that, we put a lot of time, thought, effort into how do we make this experience the best we can from the beginning, and really there is hopefully no end, right? We support people in the ways that we know that they need, and then they end up staying here for a long, long time. I think that all of those things to me, like, they all go together to make us who we are, how we do things around here. It's just that to me is all of these things make us different.
So when you interview for a new position and the company offers you a job, they're taking a leap of faith in you, but you're also taking a leap in faith in the company, mm-hmm. right? Did any of us sitting in this room think 10 years ago, 7 years ago-ish, 6, mm-hmm. 7, 15-ish, 20, did you think you'd be sitting here now? All right. But you took that leap of faith, right? And this is what the result of that is. Mm-hmm. And I want everyone to be Rachel's. I want everybody. Mark Cagle came through the Tech Builder program. You were in it whatever it was called way back in the day. Mm-hmm. Do you thank Shallon for giving you the opportunity to come here, mm-hmm. working with David and the people we work with? And those are the things that we think about is, finding the right people, getting them in the door, letting them see the opportunities are there and see what can happen with it. And that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun when you sit back and think that we have the ability to change people's lives. Mm-hmm. There's people, I've talked to people that I've had multiple people come up. They've taken the first vacation they've ever been able to take. Just think about that. They're 30 years old or whatever, and they've never been in a job to where they felt comfortable enough, one, that they made enough money, and two, that they could actually take time off and know that they were able to come back to work the week after and everything still be okay. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of sad and unfortunate, but that's the reality some people are in. So what we can do to help people is amazing, especially from a people standpoint, from my world. And getting the right people in the door is utterly important, number one, but then how we treat them and the opportunities we give them, that's the big thing. And when you look at and John Knight and I, for example, are kind of the oddities, and Adrian now, but we didn't grow up per se within the business. But Alan, Brandon, almost all of the tactical team, there's a few positions not, but all were born and raised and grew up. And that's the thing is, are we able to give those opportunities? And it's not necessarily about a title or a position. It's just the opportunity from an earnings standpoint, from a stability standpoint. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
This place does feel like Disneyland.
Yeah. Well, we talked about, I don't know whose episode we talked about this in, but we hear this when we start a Tech Builder or a Build a Plumber program. That it's always amazing to me because we bring in the HVAC supervisor team or we bring in the plumbing supervisor team, and it's literally like you hear the same story over and over again. I was sitting in your shoes just 5 years ago. I was sitting in your shoes just 2 years ago. Like it's you hear the story over and over again. And then when we do one of the first activities we do with people during orientation is, what is it that you're looking to get out of the program? And those things that you just mentioned they can only list 3. And in the top 3 oftentimes are more opportunity and stability. And so people come here looking for those things. And I think the nice thing is that we recognize that and we work really hard to do that. I know you and your team, you mentioned the 45, 75?
30 and 75.
30 and 75 interviews. And then I think also too, I feel like you're doing something else along, not necessarily for new hires, but like your pulse.
Yeah, so we do.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
We do pulse surveys, and we bring in smaller groups from the field and just sit down and see how things are going, right? What do you need from us? The biggest question, which is crazy if you think about it, is what are we doing from from a company or operation standpoint that is preventing you from being able to take care of the customer? That's the simple question. What are we doing? What roadblocks do we have or do we have in our processes or whatever that are preventing you from doing the job you need to do, which is take care of the customer? And you get some really, really good stories about it because there's things that we do. We don't intentionally do them, but there's things that we do that we're like, yeah, why are we doing that? And we make change. We look at it. Sometimes we need to continue to do it. But for the most part, we try to fix that, whatever that is, and move on. I mean, it's from a company standpoint, it's so important that actually Brandon is going to start doing a lot of those meetings. And he just wants to know, what are we doing from a company standpoint that's preventing you or hurting anyone from doing their job? What roadblocks are we putting out there? And it's no company's doing that I know of.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, pausing on that, what company does the president come and sit down with frontline employees and say, how are we making it hard on the customer? How are we making it hard on you? Talk to me. That is wild. So it's but it's his responsibility is engagement, is employee engagement, and ensuring that the company is, the employees are happy. It's kind of an odd word maybe, but do they enjoy getting up and coming to work? Yeah. Do you understand do you understand what your job is? Do you have the tools to do your job? Right. Does it sound familiar?
Oh yeah.
So it's not rocket science, but it's so hard for other companies to do. And I think we do it really, really well. But it's very simple. Getting out there and what are we doing to get in your way and preventing you from taking care of the customers and doing the job that we've asked you to do that you're really good at, and giving you that chance to get out and do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh-oh.
We both. Yeah.
I was just thinking, we've talked about run the play on a couple of episodes here, and I want to ask really both of y'all, what's the typical stuff, and it doesn't have to be specific to HR, but just from what you've seen, what's the typical stuff that takes us off the track from running the play?
Would you like to go ladies first?
Oh, thank you. I think we've always done it this way. I think that gets in our way sometimes. I think that's normal and natural, right? As a part of most human existence is we get into a habit of doing something a certain way, and then we don't realize until it's starting to slow us down or hinder us that maybe we should think of a different way. So I think we've always done it this way, gets in the way of running the play. I think maybe even jumping off the hamster wheel for a minute. I think we can see in the day-to-day of our jobs, all of us, the same types of issues come up over and over and over again. Today it might be once, and then it might happen again 2 days later, and then it might happen again 5 days later. But over a month period of time, the same issue might have come up a dozen or more times. But in the moment, it didn't feel urgent enough, or maybe not fixable in the moment. It felt like, well, boy, we're going to have to really take a step back here and figure out what the heck's going on. So we just let it keep happening, and then we don't stop to really say, how can we fix this process? Yeah. So I think what gets in the way sometimes of running the play is we don't stop to think of a different way, or we think the way that we've always done it is the way we should continue to do it.
Yeah.
What she said. No, just kidding. So to that extent, I agree. We get so much caught up in the weeds. Mm-hmm. We have a mazillion different things going on. And it's like, this happened. We just move on. Right. But sometimes we don't listen. And if we have somebody new coming in, a new perspective, why do we do this and not this? Well, that's just how it is. That's how things are done around here. And to an extent, that's true because we are successful in what we do. But that doesn't mean that we can't look at it and see, is there a better way of doing it? Mm-hmm. A lot of times there is. Sometimes there's not. So it's just, to me, I think we just get so busy running around the rat race, and we just kind of let things go or let things happen. And part of it, too, is, are we given the avenue to the people to come back and say, Rob, this is happening, and it's really affecting what we're doing out here. It's affecting how we're teaching or training, and we need to look at it again just to make sure, is there anything we could do differently? Mm-hmm. And if the people aren't comfortable doing that, then it's not going to happen, and the hamster wheel is just going to keep spinning. And even calling each other out, right? Even if something's going on in a department, you've been able to have that relationship with that manager or director saying, hey, can we talk? And kind of go over, hey, the trainings have kind of leaned this way or have kind of gotten away from, the point of what we're supposed to be covering, right? And so we need to reset and see if we can get moving forward. And again, we just don't do that sometimes because we get caught in a rat race and we're just too busy or we forget about it or what have you.
Yeah. It's been really interesting through this process with MJEZ, just going through our processes to see how good we are as a company in making it easy for our customers. It is, to your point earlier, you said it's amazing the extent we'll go just for our customers to make things right. Hey, we're a couple months out of warranty on many of those. We take care of the customer, and sometimes you can go back to a vendor and they're like, bro, you had a warranty about 2 months and we don't get any money back.
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
How annoying would that be? You go somewhere and you paid a lot of money for something. They're like, sorry, it's 2 days out. That happened to me, by the way. I had an engine in a car that I bought a used car. They were like, we rebuilt the engine a couple of years ago. And I'm like, cool, I'll be good. And the same part went bad. It was a bearing on the crankshaft. You're done, right? I take it in and they're like, yeah, you're like 15 days out of the warranty that we gave you. And I'm like, this is going to be like $5,000. And they're like, sorry, bud. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And it just makes you want to pull your hair out if you had it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking when it comes to the extent that we go, we make things so easy. It's easy to get caught up in that. It's all about the customer and let's make it easy. And it is. But then we can skip over some of the potholes that we sometimes have put there for ourselves. And to your point, this is just the way it is. You might fall into a loophole with your processes where it ain't easy for the internal side, but for the external, it looks like the swan, the goose, the swan on the water, you know, just paddling. I think Brandon was saying before, and the longer that I've seen it, I'm sure you guys would probably agree, is the human nature side of it is just the way it is, or getting us off track. It's easy for processes to evolve. It's easier for people to not rock the boat. It's just like, hey, let's just keep on going. You just show up, you do your job, you go home.
So not to get too much on the operations side, but we are very successful from an operations standpoint. And sometimes that's to a fault. And the fault is we perform so well that we hide stuff. The performance is hiding some of the things that we're missing. And until we either drop off a little bit, which fortunately doesn't happen very often, or until you step back and say, I need to look at this to make sure we're doing right.
Yeah.
We miss it because we're busy and things are going well. You just keep moving.
Yeah.
Right. Then, you know, having that relationship and being able to take the time to look at the little things that could potentially be problems that we're kind of overlooking, because, hey, we're doing okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you feel like the hardest part about making it easy is?
So it's funny, but especially for a new person coming into the business, them not understanding that we truly mean it. That to me is probably the hardest thing. I won't mention the person's name, but I've had a new hire. He's been here about 6 months now. You guys probably figure out who it is, but was getting him to understand that we are genuine on what we're saying when it comes to this, right? This is really what we want you to do. We want you to make it easy, right? And that's the key. That's the goal. And whatever you got to do that. And sometimes it's hard, right? It's hard on our side. We talk about complexities, right? The customer knows that they call on 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday, somebody's there 2 hours later, and their issue is fixed on Sunday morning by noon. That's all the customer knows. Mm-hmm. They don't see all the complexities behind what allowed that to happen. Same thing in our world, right? An issue with benefits comes up. They make one phone call, maybe two. We call back, say, hey, we got you taken care of. You don't know all the other things that's happened behind that. And that's when you know, people sometimes don't understand that that's the intent. We want to make it easy for whoever our customer is, either external or internal. Mm-hmm. And people worry that they're going to get in trouble or something like that. Because, you know, as I mentioned about Randy earlier, you want to replace that part. Oh, I'll get in trouble. It's 30 days out. No, you're not. Take care of the customer and move on. Mm-hmm. There's a chapter in the book about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wonder too, even if people think internal and external, you know, we've talked about that a lot in here. And I often talk about that in classes, but you said it a couple times in here, how your customer is, well, it's me. Mm-hmm. It's right. It's the new hires coming in. It's the people who make up Morris Jenkins. And consequently, those customers impact the external customer. But I do wonder how many companies even recognize that. You know, my customer is the people who come to my classes, the people who I help support through training. And so I do think that that is even that in of itself is a unique perspective, is that all of us have a different customer that we hope in the way that we support them eventually then translates over to the external customer.
None of the companies I've ever worked for to this extent has that much of a stress on taking care of the internal and external customers.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are some out there. I've worked for probably roughly 10 different companies. Nobody I've ever worked for was quite like this. Funny story, kind of completely off topic, but I've got to get this out here. You may know this. I don't know if you know this, but I got kicked out of meetings when I first started here. Like Brandon kicked me out.
I remember.
You remember? Yeah, right. I didn't understand what the purpose of meetings were. Meetings are purposeful, and I was newer, and I got up there, and as he mentioned in my intro, that I can take a 5-minute intro into 45 minutes. But it's getting to understand what we do and the why behind what we do. Everything here, there's a reason behind it. Sometimes you don't always understand it, but everything that happens, all the meetings, everything we do, the classes, the education, there's a reason, a meaning behind it. And once you understand it, that helps that light bulb click too. It's like, oh, I know. Okay, now that's why. But yeah, I had to throw that in there that I got kicked out of meetings my first couple months here.
It's just the way we do things
It's
around
just
here.
the way it is. It's just the way we do things around here. But again, once I understood why, it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
It made absolute sense.
I know the opportunity piece is, it's funny how you don't know how these things are going to come to fruition until they do. And, you know, I heard Dewey talk about and Brandon talk about the purpose of a business is to provide more. And for a long time, maybe I just thought that meant more money. I don't know. Maybe that's conventional wisdom. Kind of talking there, but then it's like, okay, now this, when we say the purpose of a business is to provide more, now I'm starting to see how this is going to provide more. I had the Greenville crew with me on Friday, and I just look out at those people and I'm like, the opportunity that's in front of them is just amazing. And I think that's the purpose of a business, is to provide more. Yes, in terms of money, sure. But just opportunity, period. And I think that's kind of what we see on the horizon.
So if you step back and look at the opportunity piece, it's everything you just said, right? If you're very financially motivated and you want to get out and you want to make more financially, it's there. Opportunities are there. If you want to do something else from a management standpoint or something of that nature, opportunities are there. Everything, there's so many different chances, opportunities.
Yeah, David Smith, the legend, he said something a long time ago. It has always stuck with me all these years. He says his favorite part was looking out in the parking lot and seeing people's cars change over time. The opportunities that were there, the changes they made in themselves ultimately resulted in changes in their life. There's been a couple. There's one person in particular. He was a PA tech. He was so pumped. He was coming in and telling Mark, he's like, I bought my first house. And I mean, the excitement on his face, number one, was huge. But I just look over at Mark and he's like, heck yeah, dude. You know, I know that as much as this technician was excited, Mark was even more excited that this person continued to grow and change over time, and it's changed their life. And I too notice that. I look at the parking lot and I see new cars because we bringing in new people all the time. We're growing. And then you start to see where somebody's like, did you see my new ride? And I'm like, I did not. I wanted a little trip. Let's go around the block. And they're so excited about it. And you start to see people's lives change. And I think that's a huge testament to this place, that the opportunities are there if you grasp it, if you reach out for it. The opportunities will still be there, even if you don't. We are always growing and we're always changing. I think that's the best part. And I'm sure from your vantage point, being the chief of people, it's cool seeing those adjustments and changes over time. And essentially, you're kind of the gatekeeper there. It's like, who's coming in this place and what adjustments.
So can I correct you?
Yeah.
I'm not chief of people. I'm chief people officer. Because if I was
the cop,
if I was chief of people, I'd be the cop, which I'm not the cop.
you are the cop. No, I put it right there.
That's why I'm correcting you.
The cop.
That's okay.
Let it be known. It's struck in the books. He's the cop, chief of people.
Yeah. I wanted to be a state trooper at one time. West Virginia state trooper.
Dude, you have the bald head for it. You could have the Smokey Bear and everything. Yeah. Why didn't you want to do that?
At the time, my vision wouldn't let me. I was almost legally blind, pretty much, really right on the edge of being. You couldn't do it as a state trooper at the time.
Dang.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm not now.
Listen, there's still time.
No, that
because you're the cop, bro.
That boat's done sailed away. That boat's gone.
Look, you can either be the cop or we can reignite your basketball career because I hear you're pretty good at basketball.
I used to be decent. I was pretty good, but I had one major problem in my game. So I taught myself to be ambidextrous. I could shoot right or left-handed, pretty much anywhere on the court. But my biggest problem in my game was when I jumped, you could almost put a sheet of paper under my feet, right? Almost. Yeah. My vertical was not the greatest. I started out, believe it or not, as a point guard, but then I grew and continued to get taller, and I was one of the tallest guys on the team. So I wound up being a center forward, and I loved to play. Was fairly decent, but that one little key part of basketball just escapes me.
Listen, Mike, you're like
they wrote a movie. They wrote a movie about it, even.
We'll keep that one where it is. You're like a fine wine, as time has gone on for you, we're now up to like 3 sheets of paper. You better just.
No, my hips don't allow me to jump at all now.
Your hips don't allow. We're going to attach that video.
No.
So that will be on there.
They don't allow me to jump. They do. That's a totally different topic, girls. That's a totally different topic. Thanks, pal. Old pal.
All right. Well, first of all, I will say I do think that you and your team, I do think we do such a good job of getting the right people in here. So, kudos to you guys. I think it's, like Rob said, you guys are the gatekeeper, and that's I think it's a incredibly important spot, because who we let in here, it determines the outcome. It determines where we go. And I do think you guys do a really great job of getting the right people in here.
Yeah. I think it's when we go back to the play, right? But it's everyone, right? It's, what Megan does from a recruiting standpoint, trying to get the right people in the door, but it's also, there's checks and balances along the way, the supervisors and managers interviewing and we miss things, and, them being able to capture something that we missed. There's so many times you've talked to somebody that you think is perfect on the phone and they walk in. When you were in the contact center and you'd have people walk in, we're like, oh, this is a great hire. You're like, oh, that's a dud. What did you see? Well, that's part of the checks and balances. Mm-hmm. But it's, I think we do a really good job of that, but it's also part of the overall process of making sure that we try to get the best people in the door we can. Mm-hmm. Our turnover rate for what we do in our industry is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. We're about a 26% turnover rate, which is good. I know some companies in the industry have 75 to 100% turnover. Can you imagine turning your entire workforce over every year? It's crazy.
That would be crazy. Mm-hmm. I will say, it has been really cool seeing the team that you have grow over time. Seeing the adjustments we've made in the orientation day. It's not just one day; it's 2 days. The amount of time and care that Katie and Abigail have taken to just make sure and crafting this first experience for those first couple of days are good. It's funny watching the people walk through the halls. They're just like, wow, the feedback I get from them is huge. So I know a lot of work has been put into that from those two and the time and effort. It's been cool seeing what Nick did, because Nick hit the ground running as soon as that fool got here, mm-hmm. even if the Seahawks is his favorite team. He was wearing a Seahawks jacket, by the way. I know. But he even his ideas with his whole March Madness deal with the safety for driving and everything. I mean, it might have been a mistake putting that on Velcro near the cafe because I don't know if that thing's accurate anymore. People are, but that was such a cool idea, and he's revolutionized how we think about safety here from a driving standpoint from Lytics. I know Bud and Steve are over there snapping necks and cashing checks. I love watching them come into the meetings, and Steve does a phenomenal job there in front of the room, but all of them impressed me. But somebody that has stood out to me is Megan. Megan has taken so much time making sure we're bringing the right people in here. I know that job ain't easy.
Nope. It is
Tech
not.
builder, build a plumber, Pib, and everybody else, she's trying to find the right people for that. And so it's been really cool seeing the effort that she's put in. But, dude, you got a good team. It's really cool to watch.
Big
You should be
responsibility.
proud. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
And speaking from a team standpoint, and the cool thing that we do here is we don't necessarily tell you what to do per se. We just say, here's the outcome we want, and figure out how to get there, what's the best way to get there. Here's the outcome we want. How do you want to get there? And we let them go figure it out. I know that they spent time with you. I know that Abigail spent a lot of time with you. They use the resources available to get to what we're doing now, and then from an overall company standpoint, going to management and saying, by the way, we want to do 2 days of orientation instead of one. You know, the operations people most of the time go, I can't do that. I need them now. I need them now. And it's like, no, we're taking 2 days, and we're concentrating on the Morris Jenkins things on day one, right? It's more the culture, and it's who we are on day one. And then on day two, we get the other, as they say, the boring HR stuff and the safety stuff, things like that is covered. But it's a culture shock for the new hires coming in, seeing that. And I know you've seen them on day one, walking the halls, asking questions. And part of the way it's done is they have to go to somebody on the tactical team and ask them things, and they have to go get questions answered from just whoever's walking around the building at the time. And that is it's just very unique. But back to your original point, it's something that they put together through training mastery and things of that nature, taking all the training, all the education that we provide and putting it to use and making it look great. Yeah. And they've done a great job at it.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, you already know what's coming next, so you've had time to think about it. Are you ready? I hope that he watches.
He freaking better.
Seriously. Okay, Alan's question for you.
So I cheated everyone, kind of, because I actually listened like I was supposed to. Did you change the question on me? That's fine.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll ask you.
And then I'll ask the other one.
What do you love most about Alan Smith?
All right. Two of them to me are super easy. One, the fact that he truly, truly bleeds yellow and blue, right? I mean, you could not get a drop of anything out of that man except for the fact that he bleeds yellow and blue. I mean, he is just Morris Jenkins through and through. The other one is his ability to tell a story. It's scary, right? You're like, as soon as you start, you just sit back and watch the show because he gets in front of people or one-on-one, whatever it is. And the cool thing that I like about, I don't know if this is an answer that you're looking for, but it's something that came up on my head when I was thinking about it. If you see Alan every day, probably 360 days a year that he's in this office, or however many days he's in his office, he's either got his dress pants and dress shirt on with Morris Jenkins on it, ironed, socks ironed, probably the whole 9 yards, right?
Underwear.
Everything, underwear, that's Brandon. But it's true. You would not think that he basically lives on a farm and has animals and goats. And we went to his house one day, and I'm like, I love it. This is freaking awesome, right? A beautiful pull house. Then there's the goats coming up, and the chickens are over here. And I would love to have that. I would love to have 15, 20 acres out in the middle of nowhere that I could just, and I don't think anybody really ever get that from Alan when you see.
No, probably not.
No.
You get a good story.
You get a great story.
Yeah,
Yep.
When you cut him, he's going to be blue and yellow.
this is true.
But you're never going to believe it. He's a farmer. Farmer Ted.
Yes.
He's just Farmer Ted.
Farmer Ted.
Well, now I got to ask you the other question. Did you see Brandon's episode yet?
I did, but I can't remember the question. I cheated, I guess. Not
So
enough.
since you have an undershirt, do you tuck your undershirt in your
outside.
underwear
Yeah,
on the outside?
It's
On the outside?
It's outside. I don't want people seeing my bloomers. If I happen to,
I mean, your blue shirt will be tucked in. You'll be good.
yeah, no.
Doesn't matter the color of the shirt, I don't think.
No, I'm saying if you tuck your shirt in your underwear and then you tuck your blue shirt on the outside, nobody'd see the.
So, but here's the
undertuck.
key.
It is very crisp and it's taut.
But,
you know.
but here's the key. Well, Tommy Johns are phenomenal.
All right. Shout out Tommy John.
Tommy John, you're welcome. Put the check in the mail. But the pants, right? These pants, I don't know about all of them, but these pants have a little thin ring all the way around them that is rubbery, and they keep the shirt from pulling out.
Yes, this is a thing.
Yep.
No.
They-
He knows what he's talking
Look,
about.
all y'all
Yep.
shaking out.
Yep, and it works like a charm because I have a kind
Because
of
I
long,
cannot afford for my shirt to come untucked and see that I'm actually tucking my t-shirt
into your
my
underwear.
underwear.
Yeah. So I've got kind of a long torso because so shirts a lot of times if I stretch out they come in. Yeah,
Yeah.
it keeps it tucked for me.
I'm learning all kinds of new things on this podcast. What can you say?
What can you say?
That's how it is. Okay, Mike.
What's your question?
Yeah.
So I'm going to have two, and I will let you guys pick which
That's
ones.
breaking the rules, Mike.
So that's what we do here, right?
That's what we would do, right? First, break all the rules. All right. So the first question is, what was your nickname in high school?
Okay.
Now, for me, that was a long time ago, but I still remember. I actually used it as my password far too much.
What numbers did you put after it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other question, which I think is interesting, which you kind of asked me earlier, but what was your aha moment? When in your career or in the discussion or where did you kind of have the aha moment? Like, this place is just different, and now I understand why. I understand all of the discussions, everything in the past that I'm like, I don't get it, but then all of a sudden, I understand now. I finally get what makes this place different. What was that moment?
Okay.
And y'all can pick either one.
Okay.
Or you can ask one and you can
That's
ask
right.
True. I did ask you. We did ask you two today.
You did ask me. So you're
So I guess essentially
the rule
we
breaker.
started the
You
breaking
started
of
it.
the rules.
It's first break all the rules.
You started it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here, Mike. I have definitely learned some things today. I feel like I did not know about you. So, and I hope other people have too, have learned some things about Mike, but also too, just the really cool things that you guys are doing and that you bring to the table. I think sometimes people just, they show up here at orientation and we forget about all the steps that led up to them joining the team. I do feel like that you guys hold a lot of responsibility of getting the right people on the team in your department. And I think it's nice for people to not forget about that, and I also think it's cool the way you guys are checking in with new hires and you're checking in with people from the field and how can we support you? How can we help you? I think if there's anything that I hope listeners hear, it's that we want to know. It doesn't mean we can necessarily completely change it, but even if we could just provide people with the explanation or the why or the we want to know. We want to know how you're doing. We want to know how the things we're doing might be getting in your way.
We've said it. I will always say you may not get the answer you want, but you will get an answer one way or another. And that's all that, that's all we can do. That's all anybody would want. The worst thing is not giving feedback or not giving answers to people.
Yeah. Feeling like you're not heard.
Yeah, exactly.
They're there to be heard. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on, Sinbad.
Right.
Yes. It's been
right.
nice. It's been nice. Okay. I don't know which camera I'm supposed to look at.
This one over
They changed it up on me today.
It's the first time we've done this.
I got Okay. All right. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and Apple and now YouTube so you never miss an episode. We will see you again in 2 weeks. Thank you for listening. Until then, peace, love, and easy does it.
Hey, appreciate y'all.